In the spring of 1942, long before D-Day and long before the great airborne armadas of Normandy, a small, experimental battalion prepared to make history. They were America's first combat paratroopers, the 509th Parachute Infantry Battalion, and they would carry the spirit of the airborne into every corner of the war in Europe. Led by the tough and resourceful Lieutenant Colonel Edson D. Raff, these men would become known as Raff's Ruffians. Formed in October 1941 as the 504th Parachute Infantry Battalion, the unit was redesignated the 2nd Battalion, 503rd PIR, and soon became the 509th Parachute Infantry Battalion after deployment overseas. They trained endlessly at Fort Benning, Georgia, and later in Scotland, perfecting a new form of warfare, vertical envelopment, where surprise, speed, and audacity would replace numbers and firepower. The 509th wasn't just learning how to jump, they were learning how to rewrite the rules of battle. On November 8, 1942, during Operation Torch, the 509th made the first American combat parachute assault in history. Their target was Oran, Algeria, deep behind Vichy French lines. But confusion plagued the mission. Poor navigation scattered the aircraft, and some landed in neutral Spain. Yet those who reached the target fought with ferocity, capturing key airfields and paving the way for the Allied advance across North Africa. It was a rough debut, but it proved one thing: the U.S. Airborne was ready for war. In the months that followed, the 509th fought in Tunisia, attached to various armored and infantry formations. They learned to fight as light infantry, ambushing German patrols and defending vital mountain passes against the Afrika Korps. By the time the Axis forces surrendered in May 1943, the 509th had earned their reputation: aggressive, fearless, and cunning. They were no longer just paratroopers, they were veterans. The next great test came in September 1943 with the Salerno landings. The 509th made a daring jump behind enemy lines near Avellino, Italy, to disrupt German reinforcements heading toward the beaches. Dropped over 20 miles from their intended zone, the battalion was scattered and isolated for days, fighting small, vicious skirmishes against superior forces. When they finally rejoined Allied lines, only a fraction of the battalion remained, but their actions had tied down entire German units, saving countless lives on the beaches below. Through the brutal Italian winter, the 509th fought as mountain infantry, taking part in assaults at Venafro, Monte Cassino, and Anzio. They jumped again in Operation Dragoon, the invasion of southern France, on August 15, 1944. It was their third combat jump, and their most successful. The 509th seized the town of Limoux, captured key crossroads, and helped open the way for the U.S. 7th Army's rapid advance up the Rhone Valley. By December 1944, the 509th was again called into the line. This time during the Battle of the Bulge, rushed north into Belgium, the battalion defended the key crossroads at Sprimont, Chevron, and Stavelot, facing the spearheads of the 6th SS Panzer Army. They fought with the same grit and daring that had defined them since North Africa, but the cost was staggering. By the end of the campaign, the battalion had suffered nearly 75% casualties. After nearly 3 years of continuous combat, from the deserts of Africa to the snows of Belgium, the 509th Parachute Infantry Battalion was finally withdrawn from the line. They had participated in 3 combat jumps, fought on 3 continents, and earned a reputation as one of the most battle-hardened units in the U.S. Army. In total, the 509th lost over 1,500 men, killed, wounded, or captured, an enormous toll for a battalion-sized unit. But they left behind a legacy unmatched in the early history of airborne warfare. For their extraordinary heroism, the 509th Parachute Infantry Battalion received a Presidential Unit Citation, the French Croix de Guerre with Palm, and the Italian Medal for Valor. Their legacy continues today in the 509th Parachute Infantry Regiment, part of the 3rd Brigade Combat Team, 82nd Airborne Division, carrying forward the motto they earned in blood and courage: all the way and then some.